Well, hello everyone. Hello everybody. We're back for another video, and this one I want to start off by saying that one nice thing being a young boy is my parents not only bought me albums, which they did, but they took me to movies, and I want to see your recollection. Do you remember you took me to see Mary Poppins when I was a kid, and it had a big impact on me? I remember you took me to the theater, you and Mom, to see this, and it just had so the stunning visuals I recall vividly, and the songs, the singing, the dancing, and jumping around and everything. And so I just wanted to mention how that part of my life was hinged with music by being taken to the movies you took me to.
And there were two great artists, Julie Andrews and of course Dick Van Dyke. He was so versatile. He was a great dancer.
He could dance too, which I never, you don't realize, but what a dancer he was as well.
He was very, very
talented and just such a great movie. And another movie you took me to about a year later was this one. I remember you taking me to see Help in the theaters, and again, the vivid Technicolor, the visuals, the music, the sounds, it just had an impact on me. It's like ingrained in my brain, along with Mary Poppins, that these are two of the earliest movies I remember being taken to as a young boy.
He was very young at that time.
And I still remember being there with you and seeing this all those 55 years ago now, you know. But
I remember we were in Cumberland one night. They were going to be on Ed Sullivan, and we rushed home. And the family, the three boys, my wife and myself, so they could get, I think it was at 8 o'clock at night on.
And it was with the cousins too, remember, with my cousins at their house with good memories. Just gonna show a few albums now, and these are direct from my dad's collection, so I thought I'd show them to him and see what he thinks about them. But this is one I've saved. I really enjoy this one. This is a good album.
Great guitar player.
It's called Chester and Lester. You got Chet Atkins and Les Paul. And as a young boy, I remember seeing this in my dad's collection all the time, and I never even gave it a second look. But now that I've gotten older, I've played this.
Boy, those guys.
And I've always been a big fan of Chet for a long time, but Les Paul, boy, and this album, them together, is fantastic. I don't know what led you to buy it, but it's a great album.
Well, I knew that I always liked Les Paul, but and of course I knew who Chet Atkins was, but I said, well, it's got to be good, and so I brought it home, and there's no question when you hear them interact, and there's some dialogue on there too, I believe, between them as they play. It's really a great album.
I don't know if you have much memory of this, but this was in your collection. It's just like a random golden encore compilation. You got a little Robert Goulet, a little Julie Andrews, Mathis, Bennett. You got the Dave Clark Five, Chad and Jeremy, Edie Gourmet and Steve Lawrence, Barbara Streisand. It's just a real cornucopia of stuff on this album.
Television really made a lot of these people famous. There's no question.
I don't know where you found that one, but you had that one.
I bought most of the records when I was working in Boston at
Jordan Marsh, right?
Yeah, Jordan Marsh. They had a beautiful record area collection.
It was extensive too. You
said,
right?
Very extensive. And there was a lady who worked there. She was, I don't say even middle-aged. She wasn't a teenager, but she was a little bit older, and she was always accommodating, telling me what was new and why don't you look at
try this, try that.
She helped me to get quite a few of the Ray Conniff records.
This one you had in your collection.
Yeah.
Oh, be careful.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
He was big time on television.
Java was a big hit.
Yeah.
And I remember you playing this. I don't know if you got this. This would have been in the early 60s, because I was just a little boy in the mid-60s when I remember you having this one. But a great album. I enjoy this album now.
He was famous in New Orleans. There's no question about that. People flocked to see him when they went down there.
There's one that you had. She's not too well known of an artist, but Mom used to love this album, I remember. Bobby Martin.
It's going back in years.
Randy Williams you had.
Yeah, and of course, I saw Randy Williams at least once. I remember vividly seeing him at the casino in Connecticut. What a great show. And he was getting older then.
Well, you said he was close to late 70s or 80, and he still sounded wonderful. He was fantastic.
He just had it, you know, how to present the program, how to be on stage.
This is one that I've never played in my whole life, but this is your album.
I love Cleo Lane. She was from England. Great, great singer. And James Galloway, he was, I guess you'd call him one of the greatest flute players in the world.
He's a flute player?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one I've never played, but I saved it from your collection.
They were famous in Europe, no question about that.
Then you had this instrumental album. Do you remember this one, The Electric Indian?
Yeah.
Kimosabi. I think there was a big hit on there. Kimosabi was.
Yeah, that was a big hit.
Yeah. This was in your collection. But again, instrumental music, I think you enjoyed instrumental type stuff.
I always could seem in my mind to pick out how excellent artist, someone who could play the trumpet, play the violin, no matter what.
Yeah.
That they were just outstanding.
This is another one of your compilations where you had multiple Goulet, Ray Conniff, Hattie Page, Percy Faith, Jerry Vale, Steve Lawrence, Doris Day, Jim Nabors.
These people were all big time when they were in their early years.
Of course, you always had some Mitch Miller around.
Yeah.
A couple of those.
Yeah.
I remember the Christmas one for sure, but you also had a couple of others.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know if this is more Mom or you, but you had both Hooked on Classics 1 and Hooked on Classics 2. Do you remember these in the 80s?
Right.
Used to play these a lot at cookouts and parties and really enjoyed those. Again, instrumental type music.
Of course, when we were young, my wife and myself, big bands were popular, especially when I was a teenager.
In the 40s, yeah.
The big bands were, and then the trios and whatever else took over. And then eventually rock and roll and Elvis came along, and it kept changing where the most focus, I guess, a great focus was put on each era of music, whatever it may have come along at that time.
It changed so quickly too.
Yeah.
You had a couple of Sinatras in your collection. I happen to pull this one out, but this was a big trilogy one you had. It's like a best of all his stuff.
Yeah, he was. I loved him. When he was with Nelson Riddle, he had Nelson Riddle doing the arranging for him. There were some really fine records, outstanding.
These two were big in our house. You had others of Herb Alpert as well, but these two Herb Alpert albums were huge.
Yeah, and they came to the Warwick Theater in Rhode Island at one point, and they were very, very popular. The Tijuana Brass.
Yeah, this was probably their biggest album ever. It was like sold into millions.
Right.
You can't go into a used record store today and not see one of these sitting in the racks. It's just so popular.
And he's playing now. I hear him repeatedly on soft jazz. He's made some record cuts recently, and I think he's back doing quite a bit of playing. Despite he's getting up there too. He's at his age.
Yeah. Another one that kind of goes along with them and on A&M Records as well was you had this album, the Baja Marimba Band, Greatest Hits.
Yeah.
This was a big one in the house.
Herb Alpert was behind or involved in that.
Oh, was he?
Band.
Okay.
Yeah, that those two bands were really making headlines for quite a few years.
So you can see it. Yeah, this was a big album in our house when I was a kid. And here's another one on A&M Records, funnily enough, but this was a big one you had, Sergio Mendes and the Brazil 66 Greatest Hits.
Yeah, that was he was very, very popular then. Yeah. And as the years went by, music from South America, Central America became very, very important or well received in the United States. People were buying tons of records by the artists from the South. Even those recorded in Spanish, they would really sell well when they were put out on the market.
All right, just a few modern ones that you had. Well, modern in the sense like this is back in the 60s, early 70s. You bought albums like this, the Blood, Sweat, and Tears you had, which was a real popular album back then. This is their first album, has all their big hits on it.
Yeah.
This was big in the house when I was a kid. You used to have this going all the time.
It was the music. It could be any artist, but it just struck me. Maybe I had an ear for certain types of music, but
you knew what was the good stuff.
Yeah, I would buy that only because I thought it was such a great album.
Yeah, this was a big one. Boy, you wore this one out. You played Sly and the Family Stone.
Yeah.
Greatest hits. Wow, what a big album this was. I still have a couple of copies of this myself.
Yeah.
On CD and whatnot, but wow, this was a big one. Yeah.
These groups always had some really great years where they were right at the top as far as sales and appearances, public appearances. And of course, television was in play then, and they got their exposure.
Yeah, artists like Bread. These are your two Bread albums.
Yeah,
I kept them.
Yeah, they were.
This one I really remember you playing a lot.
Yeah,
the MANIA. It has If on it, and
yeah,
it was a real big album. It's 1971.
Go way back.
And of course, getting back to your jazz roots, how you love jazz and brass and stuff, you had the first two Chicago albums.
I love
Chicago Transit Authority and Chicago 2.
Yeah, when they changed their name after they became well known, and we saw them. I guess a couple of times.
Well, you've seen them a few times.
Yeah, they were really good.
Yeah. And the brass and the rock nature of, they just combined all types of music into one unique sound. And to this day, they're beloved as being talented people.
I think that they're bringing the horns into it, trumpet, sax, trombone, that really made them famous. There's no question about it.
There's another big one of your records, Average White Band.
Yeah.
That was popular back then. And you had a couple, one, at least this Santana album you had, this Santana.
Yeah, I think he's a great artist.
Yeah, what a guitar player he is.
Yeah,
let's see. Just a couple of popular artists you had. You had like Elton John's Greatest Hits.
Yeah.
And this is your Tapestry, Carole King.
Oh yeah, she was a great writer. She was really great at producing.
Songwriter, you're right. She was fabulous. This is your Nilsson album.
Yeah.
You remember this one?
Yeah.
As a little kid, I remember looking at this. I was 10 years old or something. And
they all had their day in the sun, these artists and groups that Dave was showing you, that there's no question. Again, they all had their time on television.
These are all my dad's albums, folks, just so you know. These are the actual albums from his personal collection. Righteous Brothers. Do you remember Ace? This is your Ace.
Yeah.
They had that song, How Long Has This Been Going On?
Going on?
Yeah, that's your Ace album.
You hear it once in a while now. Yeah, I still hear it occasionally.
You had two Doobie Brothers albums in your collection.
They were good. Yeah.
The earlier pop band, and then when Michael McDonald came in.
Oh, yeah. I thought he was great. I saw a documentary including him, and he performed on it, and he was great.
Jim Croce, you had a lot of Jim Croce. These are all his Jim Croce albums.
I was sad when I heard that he had been killed in that, was a plane crash.
Yeah. Right when his career was just going, and he had 2 or 3 albums out, he was killed. That's a shame. You had Earth, Wind, and Fire's Greatest Hits. That's a good album. And you had a couple of show albums. You had Hair and Godspell in your collection.
Right.
Remember those?
Yeah. Yeah, they were very popular on Broadway, no question about that.
You had the Young Bloods. This is your Young Bloods album.
That's going back a way too.
Yeah. You had Barry White's greatest hits. Remember Barry White?
Yeah, he had a great voice, no question about it.
And your heaviest rock album I ever found in your collection was this one. You had Who's Next. Remember this one?
Yeah.
You had bought this one for some reason. And you weren't young then. You got to figure this album came out in 1971, I think. So you were 40, 41 years old. That's, you know, kind of, you weren't like your typical Who fan, you know?
I just like good music, even today. I don't listen to too much rock and roll, but I really enjoy certain artists when I hear their performances.
This is an album you had by Joe Tex.
Yeah. He had his day too, not too long, as being the famous Joe Tex, but
there's another one of your soundtrack albums, Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah, the music.
Yeah, this was a big album back in the 77 or so.
Yeah.
And of course, you liked Cat Stevens.
Yeah.
You had a couple of his albums.
Yeah, he had some big hits.
And this is your Three Dog Night album.
Right.
One of 2 or 3 you had.
Yeah.
But this one I remember specifically because I enjoy this one now. I think this is one of their best albums. It's called Harmony.
Yeah.
But good stuff.
Once in a while I look it out and see a documentary about these groups, not too often, but public broadcasting will have some of the groups on occasionally.
And you'll watch that.
Yeah, and I enjoy that. I really do.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to end it there and just say thanks. I appreciate you taking the time to sit with me and talk about music a little bit. It's always fun. So we've got 3 videos under our belt, and I'll be posting them so people can see them. And I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did, because I love talking about music, as you know.
Bring back memories. You start to, especially at my age, I start to fade. Oh yeah, that's right. Joe Tex, for instance.
Right, it gives you a reminder of it. Yeah.
And if you want to call or write, to find out if he pays me for my appearance on this show.
We'll take good care of you, I promise. We will. All right, thank you, everybody. Thanks, Dad, for being here. Appreciate you doing it. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
He's one of the reasons I've kept my faith and enjoyment as far as music is concerned.
Yeah, we got to keep it going, especially in these times. You got to keep that.
Yeah, I mean,
keep your hobbies going. Listen to music. Enjoy what you enjoy.
I can sit up there for hours and listen.
Yeah, I'm like you. I love listening to music.
Right.
All right, thank you, everybody. God bless you all,
Thanks
and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Hope everybody has a safe future.
Yep, exactly. Bye-bye, everyone.